I'm moving to the next step. So here, if you observe the response is in JSON format. So it is not in either a string, or it is not in XML, or it is not in any wrapper data. So it is simply a JSON. How can I say whether it is a JSON? So JSON has this key and value notation. So it should be like within the brackets. This is sample notation. See, if you observe this notation, I'm just copying few parameters to show you how the response is. It opens brackets, and between that it has these keys. So like this key, this is a key, and this is a value. So it's like a key and value combination. So if we get the response in this format, we call it as a JSON. So this is a JSON response where I have the different parameters. So I have the different parameters like I have the ID, I have the name, I have the email, I have address, and I have the gender parameter. So my requirement is I would like to create a contact data based on the response I get. So here in the contact object, I have the last name. So let's see what I can do is I will store this name parameter in the last name, and this ID will be in the title, or else you can create your text field. So let's say you can create an external field based on the ID, and you can perform the operations. And email, I have a email field, and address. So we'll store all the details in the mailing street, so which is a text area field. I would like to store this information in the mailing street, and I don't have a gender, so probably you can create a gender column, one gender column here. um, so it has a male or female. So what is the value you get, you can, or else it can be the text field, because you are getting the response from the external service. You can just store this in a text field. So like this you can get the data, or else if you want to get the phone number, here this is a sample response. That's what you see, the sample phone numbers. So if you want to get the phone number, so probably you can get either mobile phone number, home or office. So in contact object, I have home phone. Yeah, I have home, I have mobile, and I have office. What I do is I have mobile phone, can be office phone, let's say home, office phone, and mobile phone. So you can store these three parameters here, and you have the title, or else you can create one more field for ID, contact ID. I'm just creating that. So it can be the text column, or you can keep it as an external ID in case if you don't want to allow the duplicates, or if you wanted to update the information or performing the DML operations based on the external ID. So you can just keep it as a, like what we did yesterday. So I would like to keep this as an external ID. Let's say CID, so it can be the contact ID. So assume that this must be the unique parameter. So let's see if we get any duplicates. So you don't have the duplicates in the contact IDs, so that probably you can just make it as the external ID and the unique. Next. So this can be the key parameter in other system. Next. So this is a common parameter in both systems, the third-party service system and the source SFDC system. So this is for CID, and we like to create one more field, a gender column. It can be the text, or it can be a pick list with two values, male and female, or it can be the text, simply text value. So gender, next, next, and save it. So I just created some additional fields based on my response in the contact object. Anyway, in this response, I don't have the contact information, so I would like to simply create. I don't have the account information. I would like to simply create the contact data from the response. So last name is Far. So here is a field mappings I would like to create. This is SFDC field. This is a JSON field. So in SFDC, object is contact. Last name goes to the name column from the JSON field. This is the name. And I have CID underscore underscore C, which is a custom field. So that I will consider as an ID from the JSON field. You can compare. So name is the last name, and email can be email even from the JSON field. What are the other fields I have? Address can be, let's say, mailing address or mailing street. So I would like to put everything in a street column. It can be address. Address is a node, and gender. What is the gender in this case? Gender is a custom field. So here also gender I have. So mobile. So from mobile to mobile. So I have the home phone. I can use the home, and I have the phone column. So let's say I would like to store these two phone numbers. One is a phone, as we'll consider one phone. No need to get all the data. So mobile to mobile. So I will consider this home phone or mobile phone, or you can also consider some other phone numbers if it is needed from the response. So if you know how to get the one phone number, you can probably in the same way you can get the rest of the fields as well. So I would like to fetch total six fields from the response to create the contact. The first five fields and the mobile phone number. So now let's start the parsing. So you have the response in JSON. So now you have to parse the data according to your requirement. So if it is an XML data, so you have to use XML parser. If it is a JSON data, you have to use the JSON. So I would like to use the JSON here, and you get some parameters. I mean, you get the data from the response. So what you have to do is you have to define a wrapper class for it to get the data in a structure format. So my wrapper class is wrap context. So I'm declaring public string. The first parameter is ID, getter and setter. So what is the next parameter? The second parameter is name. What is the third parameter? Address. Next parameter is gender, and the parameter is email, and another parameter is mobile. So these are the parameters I receive from my response. So just declare an instance for it, creating an instance to prepare the wrapper data. You can just initialize this new list, wrapper contacts. Wrapper contacts is the wrapper variable we are using. So I mean it's a user defined variable. So it has the structured data. So it is a user defined data type. So now you need to perform JSON parsing. You have the JSON string. The JSON string is in str response. You have to give this JSON string to JSON parser class. So JSON parser is a pre-built class. So just go for the syntax how the class is defined in SFDC side. JSON parser in Apex. So you can just go to the syntaxes part. So what you do is, so once you have the JSON, so here is the different methods you can see, just keep aside. So these are the different methods. So we'll share you the reference URL for your reference. It has a different syntax. So just to go through one by one. So here is a JSON string. Once you have the JSON string, if you observe, the next step is you have to create a parser to parse the data. So we have to write the statement JSON parser equal to JSON dot create parser. What is the JSON content? My JSON content is in str response. So this is the first step you have to follow. So I'm giving, so you need to create a JSON parser to parse your data. So what are the response you have? You must send the response to JSON parser class so that JSON parser will treat as a, so generally this is a JSON, this is a string response str. So in get body we have the string type. So we're just converting the string response to actual JSON response. So kind of typecasting. So if it is an XML or if it is a JSON, first thing is if it is an XML, we give the data to some other XML parser classes. If it is a JSON, we have to give that to JSON parser class. A simple step. Then, so you can create probably what are the parameters you get. You can create the different parameters. So and before that, so this is a sample URL. Just I will include in the class notes for your reference. Look for some other URL as well. Yeah, so here is the JSON, passing a JSON response from a web service callout. So this is the best example you can read. So I will include the reference URL. So if you observe the first step, in the first step, see, so they are just giving the response body to the JSON creators. Then you have to parse. What you can do is just to copy these lines of code. So this is one of the easiest approach to parse the data. I'm going to show you the easiest method. to parse the information. There can be the different techniques to parse the data, and this is the easiest technique. So what is your variable? I just copied the code from the developer guide. So iterate each node, iterate each node. It's like a looping statement. And to fetch the data. So what is the data you would like to get? First I would like to get the IDs. You have to use ID here so that you get the list of IDs in the whole string, and you just declare one list parameter to get the IDs. List string contact IDs equal to new list string. This is a list parameter. You can prepare list of contacts. List of contacts IDs dot add. So what is your variable? Parser1. Parser1 dot get text. So because that is a text value. Get the list of IDs from the response. So here is the key. So if you want to get the ID, list of IDs, so it will return this ID and this ID. So in each string, in each record, so this is a one record and this is another record. So what are the records you have? It will collect all the IDs from the string, from the JSON string. Contacts IDs dot parser1 is our actual variable. So you have to replace with parser1 so that you get the list of contacts from this string. So this is for get the list of contact IDs. So this is one of the easiest approach. So next you copy the same lines. So let's do the change parser to just replace with parser to. Every time we are initiating the string to the JSON parser. So again initiating the parser to, and now in this case I get the list of names. Let's say contact names is the list variable. Contacts names dot add of. What is the node you would like to get? I would like to get the name. So name is the actual value. So this we are giving. So name ID we have to give these values so that our parser reads the data and fetches that particular root element. So this is for contact name. Get the list of contact names. Same statements you can use for all the nodes. So there are different techniques. This is one of the easier technique to parse the data. So next you get addresses. That is also string parameter. So it is a parser3 addresses. Just to modify here you should give the address. So just to change this. So email, I would like to get email address. So emails, contact emails. Then genders, just to change the gender. So make sure this is a root node actually. This is a actual key we have to give. And then so mobiles. So here is a mobiles dot add get text parser 6. So now you get the list of data. So anyway, the list of data is in so if it is a list which is in ordered, so which is in order. So once we have these list of data, so just have a look once. So parser 1, we are parsing the ID. So contact IDs is our list variable dot IDs of get text, and contact names are the list variable and getting the names, and addresses, and address is a value. Emails, I would like to get list of emails, genders too, and mobiles too. Now once you have these list of data, so probably you can write a simple for loop to iterate each record. So contact IDs is the data, I less than contact IDs dot size I plus plus, and create an instance for this wrapper, new wrap contacts. So for single record preparation, this you can use here. So objwi dot, what is the first parameter? id equal to, what is the value? The variable is contacts, IDs of, the first value is I. Assign each parameter and finally add the list. So the second one is name, just replace the left side parameters first. And the second one is address and gender and email and mobile, and the right side ones. So the first one is contact IDs and the second one is contact names. You have to use the contact names here, and third one is addresses, and the fourth one is emails, and the fifth one is genders and the mobiles. Now you have the data in LSTWI. So first we'll check how the data looks like. So I'm going to Visualforce page, adding the tab style, and adding the data to the page block table. Now this is a normal Visualforce page code. Page block title equal to contacts or add contacts. Apex space block table and value equal to lstwi and variable equal to w, apex column, header value equal to contact id and value equal to w dot what is the parameter id. So these are the values we are actually declared in the wrapper. So you have to use the same names. Just copy this line, 5 and 6 parameters. So contact name, contact email address, contact address. I don't need to add this key always, just an address. Then gender, then mobile, her name, email, address, gender, mobile, then save it. So Visualforce page is HTTP VF. Just go to the Salesforce and execute the VF. Go to setup. So here is HTTP VS. Click on it. Click on preview button. See, I can see the information from the website. So this is the information actually in JSON format. So this is the information actually in JSON format. See, ID C200 and Ravi something. So there is a data which is hosted in this public website. So I can see this information. I'm able to parse the data and display it in my table. This is how you parse the data and convert the data to the actual format. So I would like to create now, let's say I would like to place a insert button.